Welcome everyone to the Jetsalorians podcast. I'm your host BS for Jedi Kev, the Jetsalorian podcast, because this is the way. Salute everyone. We're talking a little Jets here in the off season 2023. The 2022 season has come to a conclusion. When I'm recording this podcast, it is Super Bowl Sunday. We're getting ready in a couple hours here. The Chiefs takes on the Eagles, and in a matchup, the two best teams in each conference are going to go at it. I personally don't have a rooting interest. I got my Super Bowl squares. I couldn't be honest with you. I'm going to be totally transparent and honest. I couldn't care less. I don't like the Eagles. Kansas City is in the AFC, and it's a foe of the New York Jets. You know what? If I got to pick one gun to my head, I'll take the Kansas City Chiefs because Patrick Mahomes and his father, Pat Mahomes, who was a Met reliever, and there's New York City ties when it comes to the New York Mets, all that good stuff. So, long story short, and also those are my initials. And Kansas City, I like Kansas City to win, beat the Eagles in a close game. Hopefully, let me see what the score. I'm gonna pick a score here, just to be fun. I got my Super Bowl sheet here, just by the way. So don't laugh, because I got some terrible numbers, man. Oh boy, do I got some terrible numbers on my Super Bowl squares. I do get. I'm hoping it's final score 32-26. Kansas City. Hopefully, boy, that's to could tell you what kind of numbers I got. I got one of them is promising. I got a 0, Eagles 0, Kansas City 6. I got a 0 and a 6 there. Could it be? I hope the first quarter is 10-6. I can cash in on that. But boy, I got 4 and 0, 34-20, 34-30. I could take that. Eagles, uh, you know, but then the Eagles will win 34 or 24-30. Kansas City. Either way, I could win there. I got 2 8s. So, terrible numbers. But I like at the long story short, I like the Kansas City Chiefs to beat the Philadelphia Eagles in Super Bowl tonight. Well, let's get to right to where we're gonna get to the New York Jets, the beloved New York Jets. Last time we spoke, we that was the final game of the regular season. A lot has happened. We have no longer have an offensive coordinator. He was replaced. LaFleur. In comes Nathaniel Hackett, former head coach of the Denver Broncos. Now he will come here. A lot of talks with the quarterback situation. The New York Jets are rumored for Aaron Rodgers. They're big, hot, and heavy over Aaron Rodgers. Derek Carr, but Derek Carr looks like he's been possibly getting traded to the New Orleans Saints with the Raiders moving him. Jimmy Garoppolo is a name out there for the Jets. A lot of folks are 50-50 on Jimmy Garoppolo. He's too injury prone. Again, the owner, Woody Johnson's come out. He was looking to tell the front office, Douglas Sala, we will need a veteran quarterback. This team is ready to win. They're really good, and their only need is a quarterback. The quarterback play was not up to par. He actually was vocal about it. I think he should have kept quiet there and say, you know what, I trust. He should have just come out and said, I trust my scouts, my general manager, my coaches to make the right decision who they put under center. If it is outside the organization or maybe or what we have in house, I trust them. That's why I pay them a lot of money to make these decisions. To guard, I'll surround them with the resources needed for them to make the right decision. If it's financial, bringing someone in or whatever is needed, I trust their judgment. That's why I hired them to do these kind of moves of football, day-to-day operations. I'm just here to financially support them in whatever way that would help the New York Jets reach the opportunity for the Super Bowl. But of course, he puts his foot in his mouth. Hey, he's a billionaire who bought this team. He has the right to make mistakes and put his foot in his mouth. He bought this team. If we don't like Woody Johnson, let's scrape up the $7 billion that is needed to buy the Jets and make a change. I'm sorry about that. I hate to sound like a heel with that, man. I wish I had the billions of dollars to go ahead and try to run this team and try to surround myself with football minds and try to get the right football team personnel in the building. But I believe the Jets do have the right personnel in the building. I do like Douglas picking the groceries. You could tell by his last draft here, they hit on a lot of good players. Can you catch lightning twice in a row? You never know. You don't limit it. Do they will they hit on the way they did with Garrett? And congratulations, by the way, for the New York Jets. What a phenomenal Super Bowl week. Besides winning the Lombardi Trophy, we got Rookie of the Year, Sauce Gardner, Defensive Rookie of the Year, Sauce Gardner. Good job there, as well as Rookie Offensive Player of the Year in Garrett Wilson. Great job there. And we also have two Hall of Famers. Number 24, Darrell Revis goes into the Hall of Fame, rightfully so. Revis Island, phenomenal corner, shutdown corner for the New York Jets. Had the pleasure to watch his whole career. I saw the tail, and this other Hall of Famer, well deserved, after many years, should have been in the Hall of Fame years ago, but we could debate that over and over and over for hours. None other than Klecko. I saw his end of his career, the Kenny O'Brien days. That's when I started getting into football and really following it really, really closely. But Klecko, one of the best with the New York Sack Exchange back in the mid '80s. Boy, the Jets, that team there should have gone at least to an AFC title game. And they never got over that second round playoff appearances hump there. Boy, it would have been hard to beat Elway and company back in those mid '80s. But all in all, those Jets team without Tune, Kenny O'Brien, uh, my goodness, Freeman. It was a good team there when I started getting into. I really started following the Jets really more closely there. Of course, I saw the Giants win that Super Bowl in '86. I gravitated to football to watch it. I remember watching the '86 Giants. Of course, everyone knows why I picked the Jets over the Giants. If you're new to my channel and new to myself, I'll tell you the quick story is all because of a freaking movie by the name of Flash Gordon. I used to love comic book. I love comic books. I love all that superhero type of movies. I like the Star Wars, of course. You could tell. And Flash Gordon was the New. If you watched Flash Gordon, he was a New York Jet quarterback. And just there, I said, you know what? That's my team. As and back in '81 when that movie came out, or I was like, you know what? I like the Jets, and I did like. I still root for the Giants. Don't get me wrong. But when it's the both teams play one another, I'm one of those rare breeds. I know Joe Badingo doesn't stomach that. Says you can't root for both, bro. But hey, I like the Giants, but when the Jets play the Giants, I kind of root more for the Jets. I'm sorry to say that. I'm more of a Jet fan, but because of Flash Gordon, I am a Jet fan. So I'll bring that back into to today's topic was for kudos there to Klecko, just going down a little bit memory lane, and we get two Hall of Famers, two Rookie of the Year candidates. The future looks bright for the New York Jets. Oh, not only that, you got Jermaine Johnson who played very well on the defensive line. You got both Quinton and Quincy Williams, although Quincy is a free agent. Hopefully, the Jets could bring him. The Jets need some strength at linebacker. I don't believe Mosley had a really good year this year. It was okay, but not. It could have been better. Could it be a casualty cap cut? We never know. Underneath, if you're watching along here, first and foremost, thank you for watching me. Thank you for if you're new to the channel, welcome. Hit that subscribe button. Follow us. We're not just for Jets-ALORIAN Jets coverage. We also do New York Knicks. We do New York Yankee baseball. We do MMA weekly with Austin and Chef Dan. We also do the Heal the Ring podcast with wrestling. So we get it. We just cover a little bit of everything in sports here. This is a fan-based channel to the fans. We're all fans here. It's not just myself. I've surrounded myself with some good young men who are. Hey, listen, these young men can be doing anything negative out in this crazy world, but they're out here working hard, talking about the love of sports, and we just ask you to support us. We just put it this way: the more you support, your love and support keeps us or keep the young men from doing negative things out there. That the world is full of negativity. Let's support these young men who are doing something positive, talking about sports, talking and showing the love and the passion that it is sports. So we thank you. We do all the watch-alongs for all New York-centric teams here on the BX Sports Jedi Network. BX, of course, we all know it stands for the Bronx. Born and raised in the Bronx, proud to say that, to say where I come from the Bronx. I'm very proud of my Latino heritage as well. So of course, just giving you a little insights here. So let's get back to the Jetsalorian podcast again. Again, thank you again if you're listening to us on all the audio platforms. You anywhere from the YouTube channel, Rumba, Twitch, Facebook, as well as all and Apple, Spotify, Anchor FM, Speaker FM, Speaker, Stitch, anywhere you get your audio podcast. Just put BS Sports Jet. I never all the different programs out there. And again, Thank you again. We thank the people here that allow us to record these on the feeding platforms from Opus. Check out Opus if you want to get into the streaming, the video podcast. And I have a referral code. Use on my referral code BXJEDI, and you'll save on that. So quick shout out to Opus and also StreamYard. We thank StreamYard for allowing us to record and do all our recording and audio platform here as well. All right, so let's get right back to this here. Um, the Jets, when we're talking about Quincy Williams, the Jets got a lot of free agency down in, especially in that defensive line, and a few of the offensive linemen as well. Too close for comfort, in my opinion. Um, you see the names scrolling underneath here, watching us on the video from Sheldon Rankins. You know, you see some of George Fant on the offensive line, cover McGovern. I don't believe McGovern will return. I think the Jets almost got drafted a center last season in the draft, and they just used McGovern for backup. Lamarcus Joyner as safety is a very important uh, free agent for the New York Jets. Lamarcus Joyner, when he played on the field, was really extremely impactful on that defense, manning that secondary signal caller. I wonder if they'll bring him back. I know he finished off the season a little hurt on the injured list. Hopefully he will return for the Jets. Had a good number where they could bring him back. I think they really could use Joyner, although in the Pro Bowl, the Senior Pro Bowl was out there. The Jets came away really enamored with Jordan Battle, excuse me, from the safety from Alabama. They were really impressed with him. He's projected to go somewhere around the mid 70s. Now, but if the Jets where they pick 12 and maybe the second round, if he's there, they might go for that safety there from Alabama. Also, they were talked about. They love that center from Minnesota, John Michael Schmidt. They really came away impressed there. He's from Minnesota. They saw him in the Senior Bowl game. Of course, they like the offensive tackle, Bridget Jones, big guy there who could block for the national champions, Georgia Bulldogs. Wonder if they was thought about not returning last season. They might bring him back. Now they're going to lose some defensive linemen. Maybe later in the third round, they might pick up a guy like Zach Pickens, a defensive lineman from South Carolina. Keep an eye on that name there for the New York Jets. We're losing Curry. These guys are potential free agency. I say we're losing them because I don't know if they could sign everyone, guys, under there. I really like the one thing the Jets did have strength was the defensive lineman. One thing the old football narrative, if you could control both lines of the scrimmage, you kind of have some winning football. I know we've seen George Fant is a free agent on the offensive line, McGovern, but guys like you like Rankins, guys like Curry, those are important. Solomon Thomas, they get to the quarterback, they rush, they put the offensive line, or teams opposing offensive line on their toes. The Jets need that kind of constant pressure, but you can't sign everyone because you're probably going to have to sign both Williams, Quincy and Quentin Williams. You might have to sign, both of them, extend one and re-sign the other. And I know this is a business, especially if the Jets are going to go in big big name hunting in the quarterback. There's also talks, of course. Let's talk about the quarterback. The number one thing that gets this, the owner says they're a veteran quarterback away from competing, possibly being next year. This time, dare I say it, in the Super Bowl. If they would try to get their name to Aaron Rodgers, I kind of am intrigued, excited if Rodgers become a New York Jet. But I think with Aaron Rodgers, you're only going to have that 2 year window. I kind of a little bit tired of that because anything could happen in 2 years. He could get up and he could break his foot in coming out of a dark room. Right now he's in a dark room somewhere thinking his thoughts, and boy, and that hampers the Jets' issues, and you lose a year. Let's say crazy things that happen to this damn franchise. I would like to see a quarterback. If boy, I wish Rodgers had 5 good football years left. I think Rodgers have 3 full good football years left. And if you ask yourself, Jet fans, are you willing to gamble for 3 years of Aaron Rodgers? A lot of people, I could see it 70-30, where I could see 70% of us Jet fans say, man, we have sucked ice for since 1969, man. We've been close only to three. I've seen 3 AFC title games. and we have come up short. It's exciting when you're there at that AFC title game. It sucks when you lose, absolutely, but boy, that euphoria, that nostalgia to be there, and you're one of the final four teams that every other fan base is watching you, even though you come up losing that evening, come up short of coming to the Super Bowl. But man, you like that spotlight. I'm gonna be honest with you. When we went back to back with Rex Ryan, I felt ham. I was so excited that we were there. Everybody's watching the Jets. I saw the fake bandwagoners that were supposedly, oh Jets, let's go Jets. Those fake fans that right now you they won't even bat an eye when it comes to the Jets. Listen, this shirt is a little bit old, and I still wear it. I still wear it, rocking it. I go outside with my Jet gear. I got new fresh gear, absolutely. My son bought me a beautiful hoodie. I got some. I got my. I thank you to Chef Dan. He's got me a Sauce Gardner jersey. So my partner here on the channel. But I still wear my Jet clothes because I'm a proud Jet fan. Win or lose, you're with them in the good and the bad. When we're suck, I'm there. You know what? I don't shy away on Super Bowl Sunday to wear my Jet gear, even though that's the closest you're gonna be to the Super Bowl. I hear the stupidity in Sam's Club and all the different places when you go and you go shopping or you go out and about. I say, you know what? It is what it is. It's still, it's still a franchise. I love this team. I mean, you're not going to take away my love for the New York Jets. So, you know what? Have a piece of ice and go suck on it. Plain and simple. I would tell you go suck a lemon because it's a little more bitter, but I'll be nice. So maybe it'll cool that hot breath that you have talking about, with your dad jokes. So we go on here, back here. Do I want Aaron Rodgers? I'm at 65-35 to be honest with you. I would like to get Aaron Rodgers because damn, I want to win. Aaron Rodgers was just a season removed from back-to-back MVP. He still got it. I don't know what this like. If we bring in Aaron Rodgers, they're probably going to give him restructure his contract, probably give him an extension, whatever the case is. How much is it going to eat in our football cap? Who are we going to lose when it comes to that? If we bring Aaron Rodgers, you got Garrett Wilson, Elijah Moore. That's enough two wide receivers there who could shoot, who could really spread the floor, spread the field. You also got some good, all MLA tight ends. You got some good tight ends. Brees Hall will be back better than ever hopefully after that injury. We'll see who's going to be the secondary running back. If it's still Michael Carter still going to be under contract, so you got a two-headed running back situation there. Personally, you got to get offensive line. Will they go offensive line heavy in the draft if they get Aaron Rodgers? So how much picks is going to take? How much picks we're going to lose to get an Aaron Rodgers? If listen, if we could, I know tomorrow isn't guaranteed to anyone, but if we could get away without trading any of our first round picks this year and give up two futures going forward to the Green Bay Packers, and you could still keep your this year's draft pick, I think this year's class has a lot of good linemen, offensive linemen coming out. I just mentioned a few there from the Senior Bowl, from Minnesota, from Georgia. If we could stay there and draft and somehow get Rodgers, that's a win-win situation. What happens to the future Zach Wilson? Do you go back? Can you ever go back to Zach Wilson? That's another question. It all depends on the mental makeup of that kid. If you bring in Aaron Rodgers and he's his understudy, would it help a Zach Wilson? I think it will because they kind of have. I don't think they're similar, but they kind of have kind of parallel type of style. That's the thing. I think personally, the Jets made a huge mistake when they bought Zach Wilson. They didn't bring a backup quarterback that plays similar to Zach Wilson's style. You know, you could have bought. You had Gardner Minshew out there. You had guys that could play similar to Zach Wilson. You bought that. Um, Nothing wrong with a Super Bowl MVP, Joe Flacco, but Flacco looks like he's checked out. Flacco looks like he just comes to the and it's just his persona. I'm pretty sure he's a good guy. I'm pretty sure he's a hard worker. He busts. Look like he. We don't know. I don't know. I don't know him. I'm just saying the perception seems that Joe Flacco is just there for a W-2 form. So taxes go out because he got a job. He's out of the house. It seems like that. And let me ask you, Wilson did not grow or benefit from having Joe Flacco as his understudy. You would have probably bought a guy like Minshew, or Baker. You guys, if he was available, I talk just hypothetically, guys that are not too gifted. They got to work their ass off. They got to move around in the pocket. They got to make things happen. Wilson has that kind of skill set. He's got to make things happen, but he has more talent than some of these other quarterbacks. But if he goes under that mentality, oh, I got to work. I got to be blue collar. I got to be blue collar. I got to work. I got to move. I got to think. Think quick, sharp. I think that would have helped. That would have helped Zach Wilson's development, and maybe things might have been different. I think I think that's where the Jets made a minor mistake, where they should have brought another quarterback similar to the one you have that you're trying to groom there. And that's where I'm thinking. That's why Mike White fits much better. He's more in the pocket passer, natural thrower, similar to a skill set of a Joe Flacco. Remember, he's going to work hand in hand a lot with Flacco, with running the scouting team and so forth. And that's why they showed. And also Mike White's been longer in the NFL than a Zach Wilson. He's been more in the bench. He's seen some different styles in Dallas as well. So I think it benefited Mike White. That's why Mike White had more success than Zach Wilson. But we'll see what happens in Wilson. Will he return to the Jets when his time is called? If and when if it is Aaron Rodgers and he understudied, I think it will help. But though now these days with the salary cap, with he's going to be going to his third year. The Jets got to make a decision. Do they keep Zach Wilson? If Aaron Rodgers is here for 2 years plus, you lose Zach Wilson. Then you're going back again with the quarterback. Maybe they could get a quarterback in the sixth, fifth. Look at Brock Purdy. Purdy was Mr. Relevant, and look where he was. He was 3 quarters away from going to the Super Bowl. So if they could get a quarterback similar to a Brock Purdy under their system, who's not ready, who could be groomed while Aaron Rodgers is there, that something could help the Jets. Put them in the practice squad, keep them under their umbrella. You never know with that. But let me ask. My question is, I think Aaron Rodgers. If the worst case scenario, they cannot bring anyone. No Derek Carr. No, I really don't want Jimmy Garoppolo. I know he wins everywhere he goes. I know he's a winner. He does extremely well, but he gets hurt. He is paper. He is paper mache. He gets hurt, so fragile, and then it's going to get you the backup quarterback. If the Jets go the route of Jimmy G, they're going to need to bring back a strong backup quarterback who can move this, who could play adequate, and can move this team. Not lose pretty much a beat, and that's going to be a tough one because if you have two quarterbacks, you have none. That's the old saying. So it'll be interesting there with that. Also, how they're going to fit under Nathaniel Hackett's offense. I think Nathaniel Hackett is a really good offensive corner. I don't think he was a really good head coach. I think some guys are not meant to be head coach materials. They're extremely, extremely great coordinators. Todd Bowles is one, for example. Not to pick on him. Todd Bowles as a head coach is not head coach material. You saw that he even took a under 500 Tampa Bay team into the postseason, and they hosted the postseason game in Tampa, and they couldn't beat the Cowboys. Todd Bowles as a coach at the New York Jets, very underachieved. He was 10-6 going into that 10-5 going into that Buffalo game. Just needed to get that victory to get that team who possibly could have went all the way to the AFC title game, but would have, could have, should have, and they laid an egg in Buffalo. And Buffalo wasn't that powerhouse that they were currently now. They were just up and coming, and they laid an egg there with Brandon Marshall. That was the Brandon Marshall team there that just fell short, and Todd Bowles isn't head. So Todd Bowles is not head coach material. Nathaniel Hackett, even Josh McDaniels there in Vegas. Watch out! I don't believe he's head coach material, and we'll see. That experiment will end. I hope not. I hope I'm wrong. I don't wish anyone to lose their job or get axed, but he doesn't look like a head coach neither. We'll see what's going to happen there. That's why I understand there's only 32 of these jobs available, and when one of these jobs open up and they tap you on the shoulder, and you're an assistant for many years, and you want to upgrade because everyone wants to upgrade their job status, make a little extra more money, and that's what you're here for, to get better in all walks of life. And I understand why some of these um, coaches take the head coaching jobs, and I don't blame them. So I know sometimes you got to read the room. Not for nothing. I don't want to throw shade on any other teams, but the Arizona Cardinals job if you take that job, boy, you got Murray coming off of ACL, where an owner who you've seen after 1 year will fire a head coach and actually change a franchise quarterback. There's a little that's an uncertain situation. If you're one of these coordinators from New York or from the Bengals from Cincinnati, and you want to take that job, you want to think about it twice because that owner's unstable. And you could say the same thing about Woody Johnson. Woody Johnson pretty much put everyone on notice this season. Salah is gonna. Salah, the season hasn't started. It's on a hot seat. I'm gonna totally be honest with you. If the Jets don't make the postseason, Salah's out. And the thing is, you're gonna get him out now, where you just lost Sean Payton. Payton now is a member of the Denver Broncos, so he's going to coach the Broncos. Maybe McCarty might be out with Dallas, and you might think about McCarty. Although, according and I agree, and I kind of agree with Joe Badingo. We should have brought McCarty in for the Jets when he was available 3 years ago. I believe we ended up going with Crazy Eyes. Gase. We should have brought McCarty in the building. Absolutely, I think we would have been in good shape there. Probably totally different from what we're going through. Salah's still a good coach. He's still learning. Maybe not with Nathaniel Hackett as the offensive coordinator. And Nathaniel Hackett had head coaching experience, at least for that one season in Denver. Maybe he does things different. He started as an offensive. He's concentrating and he sees the game totally different as an offensive coordinator and what calls, when the article went to talk, call his players. Maybe that's going to help the Jets with the clock management, with the 4 minute offense when they have a lead up by four and they want to run that 4 minute offense to ice the game. Maybe that helps Nathaniel Hackett with the Jets going forward. As Salah as a defensive coordinator or running the defense, he's really good. He proof is in the pudding in San Francisco. I like what he does with his defensive lineman getting to the quarterback. But one thing that concerns me about the New York Jets last season, they didn't get the turnover game. They didn't force a lot of turnovers. They weren't ball hogs. They didn't force it. They didn't recover. They didn't make the turnovers. That's a little bit of a problem for the Jets that worried me. Getting the ball on the other side and giving it back to the offense. The Jets got to do much better on that. But the Jets defense is pretty good. Is it one of the greatest? Not really, because they had a chance to become a great defense and put a statement there, and they kind of faded in the last two games of the season. We all know that. Another name there that could the Jets bring back? Well, could they bring Zerline as a kicker? I believe the Jets will get another kicker. I believe that they won't even. They'll probably, kickers come and go year after year, so we'll see there. Keon Alexander at linebacker, will they bring him back? I don't know. Vinny Curry, another defensive lineman who played some good, got to the quarterback, put some pressure. Again, the Jets are going to lose a lot. Nathaniel Shepard on that defensive line, so their defensive lineman will get a little bit thin upcoming, but I wonder if they'll draft. Of course, you got Jermaine Johnson has to take a next step up. We'll have more reps, more touches, more reps with the defensive line, more plays expected. We'll see what the Jets do. It's interesting there. Personally, I don't think Corey Davis will return to the Jets. I could see him being a cap casualty. Davis, when he plays, the Jets win, but one of the best ability is availability, and Corey Davis is injured. Quite often misses a lot of games. Denzel Mims will be interesting. I know his representatives want him to play more, of course, because he's not going to get that contract because he's not playing much. When he does play, he caught a concussion. Always a little bit injury prone there. Wonder to see if they were to bring Rodgers as a quarterback, will he want to return and take a gamble and pat his stats with a hell of a quarterback who could spread the ball to any one of these wide receivers, get their numbers fat. And of course, with the Jets, will have a good running game with Brees Hall and Michael Carter. And of course, they're going to revamp that offensive line. It'll be interesting to see if Denzel Mims returns to the Jets. I'm thinking right now 40-60 that Mims returns. I think there's a 40% chance that Denzel Mims returns to the Jets. I don't see. I go the other way. I go 75-25. Corey Davis doesn't return to the Jets. I don't think he'll return. I don't think the Jets will bring him back there. I can see Flacco 80% out. You know, uh, we'll see there. This is the thing. You really get to like this club. Some of the players that are on it, and of course, it's a business. You don't keep everyone. Some guys move on. Some guys get lucrative contract. Some of the guys want some pressure on the line, and they want to sign some of these Jets defensive linemen. They were good tackles. Look for Minnesota Vikings to look at some of these Jets, like Curry and so forth, who needs help on their defense. They were although being 13, they won 13 games, but they were a really soft defense. Looked like they want to get some beef up front, especially in that NFC North where they run the football and they need some beef. They need some good rushers, guys who could tackle, who could stuff the run. Look for that there. Minnesota will be active there. Chicago, teams like that they could use some of these defensive linemen will poach some of the Jets' talents. So, with that said, guys, I'm going to leave this here. Any free agency starts in about another month. My goodness, we're in 30 days from now. NFL free agency. One thing I love about the free agency for the NFL, it goes quick. It don't linger like the baseball. We don't know if this guy, and usually within 7 to 8 days, we know who signs where. Immediately, you get the post moratorium where you could talk to players and then you announce the signings. So we'll look for some more videos there. Anything comes up there available for the Jets, we'll make a emergency podcast and we'll talk about the Jets. Hopefully next year, this time next year, hopefully from my lips to God's ears, the Jets are in the big game in the Super Bowl, man. I would love that. I would be phenomenal to see the Jets playing next year. Jets against whoever. I don't care who it is. Just get my Jets in the Super Bowl. I would love to see that. They got a long way to go, but if they get an Aaron Rodgers and everything and their defense starts panning out, Sauce Gardner has another phenomenal year, barring injury, knock on wood and all and Garrett Wilson becomes the playmaker and continues to excel, man, the sky's the limit for our New York Jets. And then this class, if they could hit 75% of the draft, like from last year. Last year, I think they almost hit like a 90% on their draft. If they could, drop 20% of that same way, I'm not limiting them. If they could continue to draft phenomenal, they're going to continue to win. So, but if they could get a good solid draft class that's going to help their this year, 70% of those draft picks, ooh man, that's just going to help the Jets get even better. Yes, the conference is extremely difficult when you have Buffalo, who's top of the heap there, with Miami playoff team. The Patriots is the Patriots, but Belichick is a hell of a head coach. He's going to revamp, retool. You're the Jets fourth in the division there, but they with a quarterback they could just climb, and you never know what can happen. Injuries, situations, you never know. There, Kansas City is going to, that division is stacked. And Denver now is going to have Sean Payton. What they're going to do? They've got a good defense. Do they get a quarterback, or can they revitalize Russell Wilson and bring the Broncos back and strong? You got also the Duck, for in L.A. He's going to be rebounding there. And it's a lot of questions that the AFC has a lot of stacked teams. Can Rodgers help the Jets take that next level? The Cincinnati Bengals with Burrow, they're extremely strong. They're going to continue. They're a tough team. They're going to be up. They're going to continue to be top of the echelon of the AFC. So the Jets got a lot of work to do, but we've seen when the Jets play, they just beat their own selves at times. And it's the lack of talent in the quarterback position, I believe, did not allow them to excel, extend, or go to that next level that we needed. But we shall see here. So free agency will be interesting after the Super Bowl. You're going to hear some more talks about possibility that trade um, for Rodgers or who he picks. He likes Vegas, but although let me tell you this, I know he has his friend Devontae Adams there, but man, when you look at the talent that the Jets have compared to the Las Vegas Raiders. Listen, the Raiders are in a tough division. You got too many good quarterbacks in that division. I understand you could say, look at Miami, look at Miami. Really, their quarterback is up in the air. Mac Jones doesn't scare you, and Buffalo with Allen, that's your only threat. You could go out there and you could beat a Buffalo team if with the quarterback and with this personnel. So we shall see there. But this is the Heal the Ring podcast. I want to heal the ring. Listen to me. The Jetsalorian podcast. Look at that. I'm fumbling and bumbling because I am going to do a Heal the Ring podcast. Join us a little later tonight. We'll do a Heal the Ring podcast. We're going to talk about wrestling. But This is the Jetsalorian podcast here, BX4 Jedi Kev, botching up the different programs. But I want to thank you guys for joining me. Of course, I want to thank the people in Opus who allow me to stream in Opus. And thank you to StreamYard who allows me to stream in the audio platform and in the video and allow it. So thank you guys. Don't forget to hit that like. And I am BX4 Jedi Kev. And we will talk to you next time. The Jetsalorian, this is the way. And may the sports be with you.